I'm just going to take my blood sugar. So this is a needle here. You just push this down on the end of your finger. Get a small amount of blood and place it on the little strip at the bottom. That's it, there's no more blood on my finger, it was tiny. It takes a few seconds to process. And my fasting blood sugar is 8, so this is a little bit high. You'd expect this at the end of the day rather than in the morning without eating, but I did have hot chocolate before bed, so I'm not too worried. I seem to be managing my diabetes quite well with diet, so I'm not going to take insulin. I'm going to see how it is tomorrow and then add some more long-acting insulin in later. I have an appointment with my doctor today, and I've also spoken to the endocrinologist. Haven't just taken the decision not to take insulin myself. It's always a conversation with my doctors. They've told me how to do it myself and how to monitor it. So I only have I have a meeting starting in now, so I'm just going to quickly take my tablets and I'll come back after my meeting and I will make breakfast. I'm running really late today. I have a lymph drainage massage in 10 minutes. It'll take me 5 minutes to walk there. And then my meeting's just finished, so I need to make a very quick breakfast, which I'm going to do now. I don't have time to be a good YouTuber to put it into a glass. But it tastes good though, really chocolatey. I just got home from lymph drainage and shopping and I want to show what I bought for lunch and other snacks. I bought some pre-packed smoothie mix for the freezer, just so if, like this morning, I'm in a rush, I can just pull out a sachet. So it's split inside into sachets and each sachet has 140 calories. Oh yeah, mango, pineapple and goji berries, and that's it. I bought some fish. It is lemon sole and there's 176 kilograms. 100 kilograms is 73 calories. I bought some cottage cheese. I have some spinach. These energy drinks are my boyfriend's. He collected them this weekend in some citywide treasure hunt. I have some basil, some tomatoes. Top tip, smell the tomatoes. If they smell good, they probably taste good. If there's no smell, they probably don't. I got an avocado. They were all a little bit soft in the shop. And I'm going to use this today. And I got some turmeric. I'm not sure if I'm going to use this today, maybe just grate a tiny bit on top of the salad because it's quite a strong flavour, but it's a very good anti-inflammatory. And I have some sweet potatoes in the cupboard, and I'll come and put the sweet potatoes in a minute. So right now I'm just going to put the cold stuff away, and then I'm going to do an hour work. So this is my little home, working from home space. I have my desk, my fake flowers because I kill all plants. So I work here 2-3 times a week. The other times I'm in the office. I work for a company in drug development, so they are really understanding, obviously, of diseases, rare diseases, and I have a really flexible job, so I can go out to my medical appointments, work a little bit later. I'll probably sit at my desk and eat lunch, and I'll go into the office 2-3 days a week, depending on meetings and this kind of thing. And if I feel more fatigued, I can work from home a little bit longer. My manager's lovely. She really tries to be understanding and let me do things so that it's possible for me to carry work and not compromise my health. So like this morning, you saw I was a bit in a rush because I had a medical appointment and a meeting before that. I dialed in from home. I have a little headset, so my phone is actually on my computer, plus I have a mobile, and I'm really lucky. I know that a lot of people with this disease have jobs that are much more physical, that have no possibility to work from home, and for this reason, also depending on their disease state, my doctor told me that some people with my MELD score have to stop working because of the fatigue, because of the pain and the symptoms. But there's other people. So for example, when I got listed, there was a woman in the hospital at MELD score 40, which is the maximum you can have. And it means you have 0% chance of surviving the next 3 months. So she was in the hospital and she was as sick as you can get with this disease, but actually physically, when the doctor spoke to her, she said she felt fine and she wasn't sure if she was ready for a transplant. But it really shows that we all have a different experience with this disease. There are a lot of common elements, but the things that happen to me and I feel are not necessarily true for everybody with autoimmune hepatitis. There's probably a lot of things we have in common, and then depending on if you have other diseases as well, whether you respond to medication, how energetic you are normally, or how active, how you eat. You know, our whole lives have an impact on how we are, and I'm quite lucky that in a way that I first had my symptoms of this disease at 16, so I don't know any other reality, whereas people that get it later in life probably notice a much bigger impact of where they were when they were younger and disease-free, and where they are now, where they're really experiencing these horrible symptoms and they haven't learned to adapt yet, or find a way to have this new normal. And that's not to say that anyone's experience is worse or better than others. I think I'm quite lucky, you know. I feel okay, I look okay, I can function for the most part, I can work, I have a very understanding job. And there are others who really have to give up work, have to fight for disability, maybe on paper have a much less severe disease than me, so they live their whole lives without needing transplant, but actually their quality of life is a lot less. It's lunchtime. I'm just going to make myself some lunch. ready to head out to the doctor's now. I need to pick up a few more prescriptions, talk to her about my water retention and see if she can calculate my MELD score and see what my HbA1c is, because I have the impression my diabetes is a bit better, but I'd like it to be confirmed. Okay, so here's where I wait for the tram to go to the doctor's. It's so pretty, it's right by the gate, it's very close to my house, and there's a tram coming past in the other direction. I just got home from the doctor's and nothing bad happened, but I'm actually feeling quite upset. So when I got listed for transplant in September, my MELD score was 18, so I was at the bottom of the list, but I at least kind of had some reassurance of what laid ahead. So I did a lot of work mentally with the psychologist, with myself, preparing myself for transplant, and started to look forward to a future where maybe I had options again. And one of the big things that makes me really want the transplant to go ahead is that I'm 31 years old and I can't have children. And it's because of the TIPS procedure I had done. My blood pressure in my liver is high, and in the third trimester of pregnancy the blood volume increases, and so with this extra blood in the body, my doctors have told me that I wouldn't survive a pregnancy. I would either have a huge bleeding episode and I would lose the baby, or I would possibly lose my own life, and then my boyfriend could be left with nobody. So there's a very, very low chance that the doctors don't even want to contemplate anymore the possibility of having a family, and then I have to be well enough to bring up that child also. And I was told that after the transplant it would be 2 years before I could start trying to have a baby. And I lost my hearing in July, end of July, August, and I will do another video about that whole episode. But I did receive high doses of corticosteroids, which are powerful anti-inflammatories. I've talked about them before. They're used to treat AIH, but at that dosage, they can't be used for more than a short period of time. And luckily I regained my hearing with that therapy, but because I had such a high dose of prednisone, when I went to the hospital, I think it was October, I had my MELD score recalculated, and today I was told that it has gone down to 13, which, from my understanding, you're only qualified to go to the list from 15 onwards unless you have a huge complication. I don't know if that will remain the same, in which case I definitely won't have a transplant anytime soon, which could be great for my quality of life, but in terms of having a family, by the time all this is over, I'm going to be too old. And now that UK has voted to leave the EU, we can't easily move to England where we could look into surrogacy. And here in Switzerland, surrogacy is completely illegal. For adoption, the rules that when I last checked, were that you have to be over 35, so I have 4 years, and you have to be married for 5 years. So to fulfill both of those, Fabian and I would have to get married next year, which I'm scared of planning a wedding before transplant in case I get too sick and I have to cancel everything, or whatever. I don't need that stress. I've already gone deaf from stress this year, and wedding is one of the most stressful things you have, so we wouldn't really be eligible, at least until we were 40, and I just don't know if I want to start a family at 40. But yeah, it's, I guess, good news that my MELD score has decreased, but I can no longer plan. At least after transplant, what I've been through will have been horrific and stressful and hard, but at least I would hopefully become stable, and I feel like there's a greater chance of finding stability and a new normal after transplant than before, because right now, things can change so easily, and I can't plan a future, and Fabian and I can't start a family and plan the things we want to do together, because I can't travel, I can't do a lot of things, and now I think I'm gonna have to stop videoing for a while. But the last thing I want to say about that doctor's visit is that she took blood today. She's going to recalculate my MELD score. I have an appointment next week. And then I'll see where I am. So I'm back and have thankfully cheered up a little bit. I wasn't really sure whether I would leave that footage in. Ultimately I've decided that I will, mostly because I think it's important for other people who have these kind of illnesses that there are ups and downs. It's perfectly fine to be down. You can't be happy and positive all the time. Some things will hit you harder than others, and it's important just to process it, whether that's by talking or having a cry or however you deal with things. But you know, sometimes I just cry, and it's how I deal with things. And when the first time that I was told I could no longer entertain the possibility of children this side of transplant, I cried for 2 days, and I had to take time off work because I just couldn't stop crying. 2 whole days straight, my face was sore. I felt like my heart was breaking. I felt like I would never stop crying, but I did. And after that, I felt much better about everything, you know. Things like today, what should have been good news has taken me back to a feeling of uncertainty and living a half life. But I have a very good friend in the US who is living with multiple sclerosis, and she is such a strong person, but she doesn't know it, and she compares herself to me because she sees her every moment, and she knows when she's down and she's depressed. And you know, we speak on FaceTime, and she sees my posts on social media, and she'll probably watch this, so hi darling. But you know, you have to remember that these are the highlight reels of my life, and it's okay not to be okay. You know, when something like this is going on, or even if something isn't going on, it's okay to admit that things aren't perfect. And it's something that I have learned only recently, that you know, it's better to be honest about what's going on, and other people relate to that. I watch other YouTubes, and you know, I like it when someone's admitted they've made a mistake, or that they're down or whatever, because that's the truth of life. But the thing about all the people I admire is they pick themselves back up, and that's what I try to do. So I've had my cry, I will post it, and now I'm ready to face the rest of the day. It's dinner time, and my boyfriend has cooked, so he's made a spicy prawn soup, which I can show you. This is the soup. It just has lemon juice, garlic, fresh tomatoes blended, vegetable stock, courgettes and prawns, and that's it. So it's about 250 calories for the whole thing. It's now the end of the day, and I'm going to go to bed. I didn't do an opener for this video, but hope you found spending a day in my life interesting. And for those of you who are watching that have AIH, I hope that this resonates with you, and you will share your experiences with me and leave a comment. Like the video if you can, because it encourages me to keep going, and subscribe. So I will say goodnight and speak to you all again soon. Bye for now.